I've got a killer upgrade package for my Savage 116 30-06 rifle, and in this video, we're gonna put it all together. Gavin Gear here from ultimatereloader.com. This is gonna be a fun story. I've got this Savage 116 30-06 rifle that I've had for a while. I've got a Boyd's Heritage hardwood stock that we're going to upgrade it with. Also, we're going to put an Athlon Ares ETR UHD 3-18 by 50 and a new set of rings on top. Okay, the goal around this build was budget friendliness. And if you check out my playlist, you're going to find the Ultimate Reloader budget shooting and reloading playlist. This video will be in there, and if you're interested in budget-oriented content, you're going to find a lot of other great content there as well. Okay. Let's start with the rifle itself. So I bought this rifle. I don't remember what sporting goods store it was, but it was a package. Savage 116, stainless, 30-06. It's a long action. It's got a 22-inch barrel. It's got this super cheap Simmons 3-9 scope on it. It came with the rings. It came basically as you see it, minus the bipod itself. And overall, this is a good deer hunting rifle. Like, there's nobody behind the camera there, but I'm going to give you an example of just how easy this is to hold offhand. And it's just a lightweight package, which is friendly for the hilly terrain where I'm at now. But 30-06 is not pleasant to shoot in a lightweight configuration like this. And the Tupperware stock is not very rigid, and I can't leave anything alone. So, in contrast to some of the other projects that you've seen me do, like this 7 PRC, which also features a Boyd stock. This is a Boyd's agility stock. I started with a Bergara Bear long action, a Bartline 1-8 barrel blank, a Hawkins Precision bottom metal, and Hunter mag. This required a lot of machining. I did the chambering on it. I did full custom Cerakote on it. Kind of out of scope for your average DIYer. But this project is not. We're going to keep this project super simple. Unlike with the 7 PRC, I'm not going to put in pillars. I'm not going to bed it. This is going to be basically for offhand shooting and hunting. We're going to just keep it as simple and low budget as we can. So before we get into it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this bipod and we're going to put it on the scale to see what our starting weight is. My goal with this project is not to keep the weight down, it's actually to increase the weight, to increase the shootability. Now, what weight are we going to end up at, and is it still going to be favorable for hiking around with the rifle? We're going to have to see. Looks like our starting weight on the rifle with no bipod, but with scope, full optics package is 7.60 pounds. Okay, so that's our starting point. I'm going to get this gear out of the box. We're going to take a look at our upgrade package. So everything is out of the boxes. Everything is neatly organized, just how I like it. Let's talk about what we've got here. So the Heritage stock from Boyd's, this is for the Savage 116. Notice that we don't have a floor plate. This is internal magazine. This is about as simple as it comes. We're going to reuse all of the hardware from the Savage, the trigger guard and the screws. So it's basically the stock. And then we've got our paperwork, kind of the invoice that describes what we've got, and we've got terms, etc. there. So the stock is very simple. We've also got a set of 34 millimeter low rings. These are the Athlon Precision rings. We've had good luck with these. And then we've got the Ares ETR UHD 3-18 by 50. So again, I really like that 3-18 magnification range. This is a nice, smooth ring for the magnification. I like that. I do not like magnification rings that are excessively stiff. Don't like it. Love this. Okay, it's got a 34 millimeter tube. It's got a 50 millimeter objective, and As I stated before, we're going to keep our low magnification of 3. It's going to go all the way down to 3, but it's going to go up to twice what we had before, so 18 versus 9. This has got an illuminated reticle. It does come with the battery, so that's awesome. I'm going to go over the specs right off the box here to make sure that I didn't miss anything. 3 to 18, 50 millimeter, 34 millimeter tube. Eye relief, 3.740 inches. FOV at 100 yards is 39.2 to 6.65 feet, depending on your magnification. Quarter MOA clicks, so yes, this is in MOA. This is first focal. Parallax adjustment goes from 10 yards to infinity, 14.2 inches and 31.8 ounces. Comes with the instruction sheet, the cleaning cloth, the battery for the illuminated reticle, and these extra set screws and the appropriate Allen key to tighten and loosen those screws. Okay, so this is the entire upgrade package. This is everything that is concluded. Next, we're going to do the stock upgrade. Let's get to it, starting with scope removal. Now, one of the tool sets that I like, I got this Wheeler 55 piece different screwdriver bit set on a trip, and it's been really handy, including straight slot. And so for this, we're going to be able to loosen these screws that hold the clamps for the scope rings. And then we can just kind of do this by hand. Let's see. Some screws have stops, some do not. Okay, so there's that. And if I'm correct, all we need is a 5/32 for the rest of the screws here. There's kind of a wood screw in the back of the trigger guard. And then there's the rear and front action screws that hold the action into the rifle. This one has not been out. This is as it came from the factory. Okay. Interesting. And there she is. Okay. Alrighty. So there's the barrel to action. So this is a different kind of magazine arrangement. I just actually watched one of Vaughn Precision's video. Hey, Kurt Vaughn, thank you very much for that. It turns out that basically what you need to do is work this front of the magazine up here a little bit and kind of pry it out of its spot there, and then it eventually pops out. Okay, I just needed a little bit of faith to go and do that. Again, thanks, Kurt Vaughn. Hope to see you soon. Okay, so with the magazine out, now we can proceed to put this guy back in. And I'm just going to make the assumption that all of the same parts and pieces are going to go in kind of in the same way. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in. Okay, there we go. So I had to take the magazine back out to see what was going on. It actually was nothing. I just had to drive the back of the magazine down. With that tab, there's a little bit more resistance with the laminate stock as opposed to the sort of Tupperware stock that we started with. Okay, so there she is. I think this is actually quite a compelling visual upgrade. It looks really good. And let's see if we pull the safety back, fine. And with the safety off, okay, so basic function check. Looks like everything's fine so far. So the next thing is going to be to get the rings and the scope installed. So I was just test fitting the rings to see if they were going to work with these Weaver bases, and guess what? This is exactly how I found this. Get this in here. See that? It was loose by about that amount, by a quarter turn. So that is not going to help accuracy. I'm going to take a moment and Loctite these bases down. Okay, now that we've got Loctite on the base screws, I'm going to install the rings. And here we're going to use our reeler fat sticks. This is a really cool set. These rings use 65 inch-pounds for this cross bolt. And I'm going to push forward on these while I torque them down. Okay, now that's done. We can remove the ring caps, install the scope, get it level, get it set for our eye relief, and then torque those down. One of the things I like to do to get the gaps even on both sides is I'm pulling down on the one side, and I'm just going to screw down the opposite side until I see the gaps approximately equal. And then I can go to the opposite corner, get this to a baseline just to kind of finger tight, and then get the other two on that particular ring cap. And then we'll go to the fat wrench. Okay, so we're all torqued at 19 inch-pounds. And I'm going to take a moment here to just give you guys the recap of all the wheeler tools that we're using for this scope install. So we've got the 55-piece screwdriver set, gunsmith screwdriver set. This thing is so versatile. I use it all the time. And then we've got the professional reticle leveling system. I use this little level that's a part of it all the time on my precision machines, like the milling machine. Here you saw I have a level, I have a nice flat surface on the bottom of this stock. So basically I just took that and I leveled it to the scope. This is not the ultra precision that we normally go to for, you know, leveling the scopes on our ultra long range rigs and that kind of thing. The fat wrench, an essential for getting the right torque on the scope. And then we've got the fat sticks. This is kind of that modular system that comes with a bunch of different torque limiters. Let's see, we've got 25 inch-pounds, we've got 15 inch-pounds, we've got 35, and we've got 45. I had 65 on there. It also comes with that, and it comes with the half-inch socket that is typical for the cross bolts on a typical scope ring set. Okay, so that is a quick overview of the tools. This rifle is looking really good. Take a look at that. It's still relatively lightweight, but it's got more mass to it. That was kind of my goal, was just get this baby kind of up to the point where it feels better in the hands and it's more of a pleasure to shoot and is going to feel a little bit more stable. So I say mission accomplished. I'm going to take this up to the 100-yard range, do a quick sight in, and then we'll be back down to the industrial yard to see how we feel about this rifle, you know, compared to the state it was in from the factory. So before we did any of the upgrades, we took the rifle out and shot it just how it came out of the box from the big box store. Let's take a look at what that was like. stiff. Okay, and now I'm going to walk out and we're going to try out this rifle after the upgrades. Really curious to see the before and after experience. It is time. It's time to get wet. So I did the sight in at 100 yards. Started with the bore sight, got on paper, and I was surprised. Without even trying, I had shots going into a sub-MOA group, which is pretty cool. And no problems with feeding. Feeding seems to work really well with the stock and that internal magazine as it went into place. And here I backed the magnification off to about 5 because we've got steel targets here that are pretty close by. So it definitely feels really different. This stock is a huge upgrade compared to the Tupperware unit that was on there, and actually it's still all weather. That's what I like about this rifle. Okay, so we've got some targets going here. This will be really different than shooting off the bench, obviously. Just dial my parallax back a little bit. There we go. Nice. 30-06 has some good kick to it. Woo! A little more steady. The weight actually helps. And I just really like the look of this rifle. Huge cosmetic upgrade. When I go to pick this thing up, now it's very inviting, it's intriguing, it looks really, really nice and refined compared to the box store budget look that we had before. Now, this is still going to be a great hiker. The weight is not ridiculous. I'll put the weight right here that we ended up at. And we still have our swivel stud for the bipod. And I just really like how this thing turned out. But what I'd really like to know is, what do you think? By the way, this scope is very, very clear, and the illuminated reticle is really, really sharp. I tried that out as well. So what a great package. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment and we'll start a discussion. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. If you're interested in custom rifles like what we build here on the channel or gunsmithing services, you're going to want to go to rifles.ultimatereloader.com and get on the wait list. If you're interested in becoming a professional gunsmith, check out the Sonoran Desert Institute. They've got a degree program, they've got a certificate program, and you can study from home. Learn more at sdi.edu. Thanks again for watching.